Welcome, everyone, to the Daily Slab for Thursday, December 1st, 2022. I'm Nate, and I'm here with your Sports Card Rundown. If you like this video, please click that like and that subscribe button. Helps us get this video out to more people like yourselves, card collectors. All right, on this day in 1967, that was a while ago, 1967, the Pacific Northwest Sports Incorporated, don't really know who they are, was awarded an MLB expansion franchise. That franchise, of course, went on to become the Seattle Pilots. And if you haven't heard of the Seattle Pilots, well, I don't blame you. They were only around for one season before they went bankrupt, and they got sold to Milwaukee King car lease guy, Bud Selig. Yeah, former Commissioner Bud Selig owned a car lease dealership in Milwaukee. He loved the Braves. He was part owner of the Milwaukee Braves before they got sold and moved to Atlanta. And so he needed to bring baseball back to Milwaukee, and he bought the Pilots after they went bankrupt. He tried, I read while researching this, that he tried to buy the White Sox. Wouldn't that be crazy if there was no Chicago White Sox? He tried to buy the White Sox and move them to Milwaukee, but the MLB said no. They wanted an American League franchise in Chicago, one of America's biggest cities. So instead, he turned and bought the Pilots in 1970 and moved them to Milwaukee. And the rest is history. I went on and card ladder and looked for the most expensive Seattle Pilots card I could find. You're only going to find them in 1969 Topps. And sure enough, here is this Larry Haney 1969 Topps PSA 10. It's a Pop 2, and it sold for earlier this year for $3,000 on January 25th. So pretty interesting backstory there for Brewers fans, I think. At least I'm a Brewers fan, so I like it. And pretty crazy that you can find a Seattle Pilots card for $3,000. I was not expecting that. I was expecting a high of like $50. All right, our Who's Hot of the day is not really a single person, as it is an entire team. And I've had to take a couple days to talk about this because I wanted to talk about it on Monday, but I just couldn't stomach it. Tuesday, but I just couldn't stomach it. Wednesday, but I just couldn't stomach it. So I think Thursday is finally the day that I talk about this. And the Philadelphia Eagles played the Packers Sunday night, and they ran all over them. Now, of course, if you're a Packers fan, you know what that's like because you've played AP, Adrian Peterson. He runs all over you for years and years and years. Colin Kaepernick, he runs all over you for years and years and years. And now Jalen Hurts and the Eagles ran all over us to the tune of 363 yards. Hurts ran for 157. Miles Sanders ran for 143. Kenneth Gainwell ran for 39, and Boston Scott ran for 24 yards. So they ran for 363 yards. If you're wondering, like me, where that places in the pantheon of great rushing games, well, it's 15th all time. That's right. Of all the games played in NFL history, that is the 15th most rushing yards in a single game. 15th. That's pretty impressive. The other thing is that it's the 5th most since 1979, which is impressive because, you go back and you look at the game in the 50s and the 60s and the 40s, and there was a lot of running, not a lot of passing. Nowadays, it's a lot of passing. So getting a game like that in a pass-heavy era like today, even more impressive. So 363 yards, crazy. The most yards ever was 424 yards by the 423 yards by the New York Giants against the Baltimore Colts on November 19th, 1950. And one last thing I thought was pretty interesting here. Green Bay, who gave up the 363 yards this Sunday, is actually tied. Out of the 15 games, they have 3 of them where they are the opposing defense giving up the yards. That is tied with the New York Yankees, not the baseball New York Yankees, but the football New York Yankees for the most, because the Yankees also gave up 3. What else is interesting is that the Yankees were only around for 1950 and 1951. They gave up 3 games of 3 of the 15 most rushing yards in a game in NFL history. They give up 3 of them in just 2 years, which is insane. And then the other thing is they moved. After they left, they moved to Dallas and became the Dallas Texans. They folded after 1 year, but their colors were blue, white, and silver, a royal blue, white, and silver, kind of like the colors of the Dallas Cowboys. So everything fits together there very nicely. But the Eagles had an amazing day, and one of the players that had an amazing day, Miles Sanders, who ran for 143 yards, well, his 2019 Select Orange Pulsar Patch Auto at 23, which you can see here with the absolutely nasty beak patch there, super, super sick patch, that sold for $254 on the 29th. You could have bought the same card, different patch, but the same card, PSA 9, for $66 on the 27th of October. So a very good rise in price there, considering what you could have got it for early on the season till now. So shout out to the Eagles for rushing for 363 yards. I was kind of cheering for him to run for 400 in like a devastating, like, I don't even know. It was terrible. It was terrible as a Packer fan to watch these guys run all over you. But hey, what are you going to do? 15th best game of all time. And continuing on the trend of yards today, our trender, pun intended, is Josh Jacobs. Yeah, Josh Jacobs on Sunday had 303 yards by himself. The Eagles ran for 363 yards. Josh Jacobs by himself had 303 yards. Now, it wasn't all rushing. There was 229 yards rushing and 74 yards receiving. There have been 26,000 plus NFL players to have played a game in the NFL. 9 of them before this past Sunday had 300 yards or more in a game. Josh Jacobs became the 10th. That's how impressive this game was. That's how impressive his 86-yard walk-off touchdown was. He put his name into a top 10 list. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't really have the words to describe it. It was an incredible game from him. He walk-off win against the Seahawks, a pretty good Seahawks team. For the year, he has 1,159 yards rushing, 325 yards receiving, and 9 touchdowns. It's already a career year for him, and he still has 6 games left, which means he could go even further. Can he get to 2,000 yards combined on the season? He might be able to at this rate. We will see. But his cards, they've been on the move. So his 2019 Prism Base rookie, PSA 10, that has jumped up 65% in the last 3 months. Now, it's not huge money, but again, these little wins add up after a while. So on the 29th of August, you could have bought his Prism Base PSA 10 for $22. That new value is $36 on the 27th of November. So a pretty healthy rise for a pretty boring card. And if you have some, maybe you should look to sell them now while his name is hot. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching today's Daily Slab, and I will talk to you all on Friday for the next Daily Slab. See you, everyone.